I wanted today to talk about building constructive habits. Now, I'm going to be talking about being creative in general today. So, this could be applied to a whole range of different things. But for context, I'll often get people ask me, how did I make something? How did I create something? Might be a painting, might be a drawing, might be something else. For hobbies, I sew, and I'll get disbelief when I say I've made this or that, because people are so used to nowadays consuming. But really, you have the ability, if you put your mind to it, to make something really quite easily, and it's a very rewarding thing to be able to do. So if I'm asked, Tom, how do you get so good at drawing? The first thing I'd ask is, can you define good in that context? How do you define good in that context? Because people will look for different things. The things that they admire, it'll be completely different. So it helps to understand and just frame things so that you can form a response. What is good? What do you mean by that? Often in painting or drawing, at least, it'll be an admiration of technical ability. So it might be, how do I draw? Often it'll be photorealistically. What they really mean is, how do you draw from life accurately? And that's something I don't dabble in very much these days. My work is abstract in nature now. But for a long time, I'd work from life. I'm good at rendering things from life, but there's no excitement in it for me. But often that's what they'll mean. How do you draw things that look like the things that you're seeing in life? So my response to that would be, well, you're watching me, you're seeing me draw something now, but actually, I've always drawn, or I've always painted. Drawing for me was something I did from the earliest age and never let go of. And you have to take into account that time. It doesn't mean that you can't improve steadily, over a shorter time frame, but often what people don't see is the time that you've invested into that thing that you seem to just easily appear to be able to do. It seems to be a talent when actually it's a skill that you've acquired because you've understood what you need to be able to do to make a success of that. And in that sense, if you want to become good at something, if you want to have constructive habits, if you want to be able to make and successfully be able to create things, you need to be able to make use of your time constructively. And what I mean by that is, we are so used, as a society today, we're so used to jumping on our phones, going on social media, endlessly doom scrolling. And it can become a very destructive habit. It's a habit that's easily made because the companies that make these platforms entice you into doom scrolling. But time is a finite resource that you have. And it's one that they've been able to tap into quite successfully, but what you need to be able to do is to tap into it yourself and understand that outside of anything else, time is the one thing that you can't get more of. Okay, it's the one thing you cannot get more of. So make the best use of it. Now, what I'm saying there is I'm not saying that you need to be productive all the time or creative all the time, but you need to be able to use your time in a way that feels constructive for your purposes. So you need to be able to build constructive habits. And probably the easiest way, the easiest gateway into doing that is to perhaps go and search out how you might want to begin doing something. Maybe that's how you've come across this video. Maybe you've thought about how can I make something, how can I paint something, and the algorithms pop this video up. Now, what I would say is when people are wanting to learn something, often what will happen is you'll be told how to do something. So how can I paint realistically? How can I paint abstractly? Something which is solid and tangible. And that's fine. But in order to truly be creative in whatever endeavour that you're undertaking, you don't just need to know how to do it. You need to know why you're doing it. So, for instance, all of this, making videos and talking to the camera is new to me. I'm used to talking to people, talking to students, one-to-one. And that presents challenges for me in that I'm having to learn and muddle through how to make these videos, how to capture the video, how to edit the video, how to export the video, upload the video, all sorts of things that are entirely unfamiliar to me. And one of the biggest issues I've been having is color grading. So whatever colors that I'm seeing on my device that I'm working on, so at the minute I'm capturing this on my phone. When I export that into an editor, or import, I should say, when I import that into an editor and then export it out, the colours are not quite matching up. So I spent a whole load of time researching how to get the colour grading correct, or where I want it to be for when I'm uploading a video onto YouTube. And that's great. There's loads of information out there on how to do it. However, these tutorials will go through all of the options that you might want to use, and they'll tell you use this option, and you do it and it works, and that's great. And they don't tell you why. So if you've got no interest or no knowledge, prior knowledge in why you should use that setting, it means nothing. You've learned nothing. All you know how to do is to copy something. And I still couldn't tell you why these settings worked, because no one's explained it in any videos that I've looked at. And that is the problem, especially if you're painting, if you are drawing, if you want to execute something technically. You can find loads of videos that say to you, use this technique. These are the steps that you should use. Use this pencil, use this paint. But often the most important question is overlooked, and that is why you should use these things. And the why is always more important than the how, okay? Because you can learn the how as you go along. You don't need anyone to tell you that. You can work instinctively. But why you might need to know how to do that, that is the important thing. As an example, I might suggest that you add marble dust to your oil paint, and it might change the property of the paint. Great, and it might work for you. But why have I suggested that? Okay. Now, the chances are, if I'm going to suggest something like that, it will be because a student has come to me and said, Tom, I want to make my paint have a bit more body to it. It needs to be a bit thicker. It needs to have a bit more break in the brush marks. Great. So you add something to the paint, and that means you can add marble dust to the paint, and it will change the property of the paint. But if I just said add marble dust to the paint with no further context, and the student did that, they've not learnt anything. All they've done is they've followed my instruction. But that's not how you be creative. Okay. You can assimilate instructions, but then you have to synthesize off of that. So it's that building constructive habits, being a creative person. If you're looking for tips, if you're looking for a way to constructively promote growth in your life, what you're after is not a Bible. It is not something, it's not a series of instructions that will tell you how exactly to do this step by step. That's not what you need. What you need are tools to be able to tell you why, so that you can then synthesize your own solution based off the knowledge that you have. And that will ensure you keep growing, and it will unlock so many opportunities as a person, creatively or otherwise. That will unlock so many opportunities for you. So really what I'm saying is, learn to trust your own instincts. Search out new information, but with the caveat that you know that a step by step is not going to provide you with the answers that you're looking for. If you're looking for something greater, that has to come from making, from doing, from reflecting, and then synthesizing. Okay, that is the important thing. That will lead you to new discoveries, and that will provide fulfillment in your life.